Preservation is always important. What we're experiencing right now really sucks. The Xbox 360 store is shutting down very soon. They're shutting down the Wii U store. They're also shutting down the 3DS store. They're shutting down the PlayStation Vita store. They're trying to shut down the PlayStation 3 store. Basically, a lot of games that are exclusive to these consoles are going to be lost to time. There's a lot of online games that are going to be lost to time. And any DLCs that came with that game, with a price tag on the old consoles, it's not going to be available anymore. It's going to be lost to time. Obviously, time is something that we all face. And right now, the 360, PS3, PS Vita, PlayStation 3, the Wii U, the 3DS, at this point, they're becoming retro games. And it really comes in the question of preserving these games, like game preservation. Like, how are we going to preserve these games if companies are shutting down these old consoles? They were like the best years of my life, and to others too. I mean, the real question is, what is the future of gaming? Modern games suck nowadays. Of course, there's a few gems here and there, but as it stands, just gaming in general in the modern day sucks. And with all these games being lost to time, whether it's from climate change or disc damage or losing consoles over it, not being able to get another copy from the digital store, I'm realizing that it's going to become a big problem. And I have no idea what kind of solution we can bring to the table. I have so many old games that I preserved myself too. Also got a lot of new games too. I got a mix of a lot of old consoles, old games, new games, and newer consoles. But it really comes to the question is, what is the future going to be for game preservation? With stuff being destroyed, with natural disasters and climate change, a lot of this stuff is getting destroyed. Game preservation is becoming harder and harder to manage. And for any gamer that wants to experience these old games, well, we're kind of running out of options. These kids will never grow up playing these old and classic games. And it's just sad to see. I really want the next generation to experience these old games instead of, just experiencing just games with microtransactions. I mean, and that's a whole different topic. The gaming industry of microtransactions, that's getting worse, but there's just so much that's being lost to time with these games being either shut down, DLCs no longer available, no more to purchase. These games are going to be no more purchasable, and basically the only thing that will be left is physical. And I know that some people are wanting to go digital, but even I don't see that as a viable option. Like, what if these newer consoles shut down too? I mean, what's left then? There's so much that's going on in the gaming industry. The gaming industry is struggling right now, and game preservation is just becoming harder and harder. I mean, there's just so many questions I have with gaming and just everything in general. It is our duty to preserve these games. And I just don't know how we're going to do it. Obviously, there's emulation and piracy. Seems like those are basically the only two options to play these games, but it's like, I just wish these companies would at least preserve these games and maybe re-release these games too. But what I've heard is that there's so many licensing issues and stuff like that, and companies are just not wanting to release these old games. It truly sucks. This was the best generation I have ever had. Back in the PS1, PS2, Xbox, the Wii, Xbox 360, PlayStation 2, the GameCube, Nintendo 64, the 3DS, the Nintendo DS, the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, the regular Game Boy that was in black and white. Just so many good memories. And I truly feel like that these are going to be lost to time. I just wish there was some kind of solution that we could go into. But we really don't know what the future holds. We can hope, but we'll just have to see.